Welcome to PlayPianoTODAY.com. In this lesson, combining slash chords and straddles to make major 9 chords. Today we're going to combine a couple different techniques from previous lessons to create something totally new. Specifically, we'll use the techniques of slash chords and straddles, both from previous lessons, to create lush, delicious major 9 voicings up and down the keyboard. This is so much fun. Let's check it out. Major 7 chords are really clean sounding chords. As opposed to dominant 7 chords which are used in the blues. Those chords are a little more gritty, but major 7 chords, they impart such a sweet sound, like something you might want to hear in the morning. If you woke up to an alarm clock that was full of dominant 7 chords, you might hit somebody. But major 7 chords would wake you up gently. And in the right circumstances, again, they are fantastic chords to just impart a real open sound. Let's take a closer look at the major 7 chord. Just for review, let's take a look at a major 7 chord in the classic closed position that you'll see in most textbooks. There's D major 7, D, F sharp, A, and C sharp. Now I'm going to assume that you've already gone through the original course titled Pattern, Piano, and Keyboard, as found at PlayPianoTODAY.com. In that course, one of the things you'll learn is how to construct every conceivable type of 7th chord, including the major 7 chord we're looking at today. Remember, in this lesson, we're going to apply 2 different techniques from previous lessons to this major 7 chord, the slash chord technique and then the straddle technique. First, let's take a look at the slash chord technique as applied to the D major 7 chord. To transform a D major 7 chord into its slash chord equivalent, the rule's real simple. You simply play the root with your left hand, then count up a 5th, and build a major triad, or A major. All of a sudden, instead of D major 7, you have something more than you started with. You actually have D major 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That E is thrown in there, but you didn't have to think about that. You simply play the root with your left hand, and then mentally you counted up 5 notes in the scale of D, which is really important, and you build a major triad. All of a sudden you have a nice slash chord, A over D. In fact, that's how it's written, A slash D. Now, just a second ago I said, kind of under my breath, in the scale of D. You've got to count up. When you count up 5 notes, you can't just count any 5 notes. You can't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are some absolutes in this world, and one of them is when you're building slash chords, you've got to count up 5 notes in the scale of the root. Which begs the question, how do you know what are the first 5 notes of any scale? Well, I'm so glad you asked. There's a great course that'll answer that question at PlayPianoTODAY.com. The course is called Pattern, Piano, and Keyboard. One of the primary things we go through in the first 20 minutes is the pattern that is based on those first 5 notes of any scale. And from that, you can build any major or minor triad, and then you can get into music right away. Now, let me give you another example of another major 7 transformed into its slash chord equivalent. Okay, G is going to be our victim now. G major 7. Okay, here's the rule. Play the root with your left hand, then go up a 5th in the scale of G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and build a major triad. Now you have D over G. Pretty simple, huh? All of a sudden, it's much more open. Again, you've got D over G. Let's do it over C. C major 7. Play the root with your left hand, go up a 5th in the scale of C. That's a really easy thing to do, right? Mentally, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and land here and build a major triad. You've got G over C. Isn't that nice? So here's the chords we have now. We've we've got D, G, and C, and we're going to play a song with them. But first, I want to show you now the application of the straddle technique, which will really open this up all over the keyboard. Let's check that out. Using C major 7 as our example, let's first change it into a slash chord and then use the straddle technique. So we go to the root, and then in the scale of whatever note that root is, we count up 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and build a major triad on whatever note that 5th note was, right? A G major triad. Okay, at this point we have the slash chord equivalent of C major 7. I think you're getting it. I'm driving it home. Now at this point I want you to back off, way off mentally. I don't want you to start thinking C major 9 or any of that nuclear physicist stuff. I want you to just concentrate on a G major triad, because when the music is moving and grooving, you can't think of all that complex math. You want to think real simple basic building blocks so you can wrap your mind around it. The straddle technique is only going to deal with this right hand triad, G, B, and D, a G major triad. Okay, so let's go now, and we're going to harken back to a video piano lesson I did earlier called Straddles. In that lesson I talked about inversions. To invert this G major triad, it's in root position at this point because the root of this G major triad's on the bottom, okay? Even though it's part of a bigger chord, the root is down here for the bigger chord. But when we break it down to just the right hand, let's talk about just a G major triad. The root for a G major triad is right here. So we've got a G major triad in root position. Did I make that clear? Can I say it again? Okay, here's the G major triad. To invert it, take the bottom note, flip it up on top. You still have the same notes, G, B, and D, but now it's in first inversion. Root position, first inversion. Okay, let's invert it again. Take the bottom note, flip it up on top. You still have G, B, and D, but now you have second inversion. Okay, so root position, first inversion, second inversion. So guess what? You can do any of those inversions of the G major triad when you're playing them over a C as a slash chord. Are you ready? Here it is. I know that's obvious, but I think somewhere in the world, the light just came on for somebody. Hey, that's cool. This is C major 9, this is C major 9, this is C major 9. Okay, we still have not applied the straddle technique. At this point, I'm going to jump to the end of the lesson because the site that you're on only allows us to post up to 10-minute videos, and this lesson is longer than that. However, you're going to miss a lot of material, and I put a lot of work into it, and I want you to see it. It's completely free to watch the entire lesson if you go to PlayPianoTODAY.com/SC and the number 2, like slash chords 2. But if you want to stick around and stay on this side, I'm going to go ahead and jump now to the end of the lesson. We're going to skip a lot of the technical stuff and get to the point where we're using all these techniques within the context of a song. It's a very precious old song called Danny Boy. I bet you've heard of it. Anyway, you'll see a lot of these slash chords and also the straddle technique being employed. I hope you enjoy it. Here it is. Danny boy, the pipes are calling you from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. It's you, must go and I must buy. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed white with snow. It's I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh Danny boy, I love you so. Well, I hope that inspires you to sit down at your keyboard and crank out some great major 9 voicings by using slash chords and straddles together. If you'd like to view this entire lesson, it's completely free. Come over to PlayPianoTODAY.com/SC2. You'll find all kinds of musical goodies and things guaranteed to make you smile. Till then, this is David Sprung. Thanks for listening.